to Katrina's Creations. This is episode 152, and things are a little different because I've actually pre-recorded today, and I will not be showing my finished objects or work in progress because people are actually staying in this room as you're watching this. So I pre-recorded and thought it would be fun to do a revisit of the Tub of Shame. Yes, the Tub of Shame are projects that did not quite work out right. All of us make mistakes, even those of us who have been knitting for a very long time. So none of these are crochet disasters because I haven't been crocheting enough to come up with bad disasters. Knitting, on the other hand, yeah, I wish I could say I didn't have disasters. So let's get started. You might want to withhold putting anything liquid in your mouth while you're watching these because some of them are pretty ridiculous. The first item was supposed to be a snood. Really? Seriously? I look like I'm wearing a shower cap. It's really, really bad. So, and this, now it's caught in my hair. Oh dear, it really is caught in my hair. Ah, there we go. This actually is crocheted. I take it back. I do have a crochet project. It's just double crochet all the way around in a circle. And then I gathered it, sorta. I tried to put an edging on it. You can see. But somehow it's too big. Snoods are supposed to sit on the back of your head and hold your hair. Yeah. Mine looks like the cap that Lucy wore on the Lucy show when she stuffed all the candy into it. I wouldn't mind the candy stuffed into it, but the hat's really bad. Next I have this sweater, which the pattern is okay, but it bags open here. It doesn't fit me all the way around. It should have been wider. Although the seams are right here in the right spot, my tummy is wider than this is. And this top, the top yarn here is more of a merino weight. A merino yarn, so it is softer and stretchier. This is very scratchy, itchy yarn. So the weight of the gold is too much for the weight of this, so the whole thing, the whole neckline pulls down. So it's not horrible. It honestly isn't terrible, but Dave is not crazy about it on me. He thinks it looks kind of funny. So, yeah, but that's what it is. I guess if it didn't gap here, it wouldn't look as funny, but yeah, that's the problem with that one. Next, we have a shawl that is a very weird shape, and it's not the fault of the pattern. This is meant to be a crescent-shaped shawl, which you start in the beginning here, but as you can see, it kind of drops away on both sides, like that. The reason is when you block this, you're supposed to stretch your stitches up so that it angles out more. Mine never did that because I did this with acrylic, and I shouldn't have. I mean, it's a pretty shawl. It has what's called a Latvian braid, which is this, and then it has mosaic knitting at the bottom. So I might try this again one time, but I'll do it with the right kind of yarn because this little tab thing never stretched out. So when you wear it, it does that. And the sides, instead of going out straight, drop away. So it doesn't stay on your shoulders. It feels like it's on backwards all the time. But that's what it looks like. So like I said, I might re-knit this at some time, but with yarn that will stretch out a little bit better. Next I have this scarf. Now it is, it's done in autumn colors, and if you look at it just right off the top, it doesn't look bad. But if you look closely, you'll see there's some spots where I got my directions confused. And right along the line running along here, all of a sudden my stitching goes off. So the lines stop going in lines and do a little jag. And they do it down in the bottom in a couple places too. You can see it when I hold those up. So this is just a matter of ripping it out and redoing the same thing, but making sure I get going the same direction. And it's like a neck scarf. It's meant to be worn kind of kerchief style. Like that. This is a cowl that I made. It's actually one of my patterns. It's the Basic Stitches cowl. But this particular yarn did not block or pull out properly. So you can see it's all bunched in the middle and it's loose on the ends. So when I wear it, it just rolls over on itself. So this was probably not the best choice of yarns to make it with. I do like the colors of it because it's very Christmassy looking. There you can see it. And it has sparkles in it. So I do like to wear it. It's one of the things I like to wear at Christmas time. But I need to redo it because as you can see the edges curl on it. This next one is the Hitchhiker Shawl, which I absolutely love this pattern. The problem with this one is it really stretched out and it's huge. There's nothing wrong with the pattern itself, and I can wear this, but it's like twice the length of what I need. The actual pattern, I've made this several times, and when I've made it other times, it's fine, but for some reason, this yarn stretched out a lot. So I can wrap it around my neck like 2 or 3 times, and it ends up all bunched up. So it's just, this one is just a matter of, it's just, needs to be re-knit, but maybe with smaller needles, so it's a little tighter weave, because you can see it's relatively loose. In fact, oh, look, there's a hole. Definitely need to be washed again, or redone, because there's a little hole right there. So, I like this yarn. I actually have another skein of it someplace too. But I think if I redo it with a little bit smaller needle, it'll be fine, because this, as it stands, is probably almost, it's a little over 3 yards. So it's huge. It's just way too big. So I need to rip some of this out and do it over again. Now we have one of the more funny ones. I actually was knitting this when my granddaughter was being born, while we were sitting in the waiting room. It is all hand spun, and it started out its life as white, except that I knew, knowing me, it was not going to be white for long, so I decided it's a cape. Okay, by the time I finished it, I decided I would dye it. It also turned out huge. So I thought, I will dye it. I will dye it black so it does not show dirt. Apparently I have different types of wool. Different types of wool dye differently. If you can see this, it's brown and lavender. How ugly is that? Why would you ever have brown and lavender? I did not dye it lavender. It showed up the weirdest colors. It's really unattractive. And when it felted, it made it extremely heavy. There's no way anyone could wear this. It would knock you over. It must weigh 10 pounds. And it shrunk a little too much. So it would barely fit on my shoulders at this point. But the thing is so heavy. I mean, I feel like going when I put it on. But you can see it didn't shrink right. It doesn't fit right. This is what it was intended to do. It's warm, but it's extremely ugly. I've thought about cutting it up, but who wants something that's brown and lavender? It's just such a weird, I like purple, but not purple and brown together. It's like the weirdest coloring. So I can't rip it apart because it's felted, and because I actually cut in the armholes here, or the hand holes. So it's not like it can be used. The only thing I could do is maybe cut this and make oven mitts out of it, because it's certainly thick and heavy enough. But it's just, I don't know what to do. I've just never brought myself to throw it out, because I knew that how much work went into it when I spun all of this. So yes, this is the thing that's been in the tub of shame the absolute longest, because even though I don't like it, it's hard for me to part with it because of the amount of work that went into it. So yes, that's probably the top item in the tub of shame. Next we have this thing. Now let me explain what you're supposed to do with this. It's supposed to be 2 sleeves. Here's a sleeve here, and then there's a sleeve on this side, and then it has these loops, which are supposed to go over your head in between them, and then this is supposed to stretch down and form almost like a little bolero jacket. Nice in theory, but as you can see, this is not working. Not at all. Plus, I don't like bell sleeves like this because I managed to get them stuck and caught, and if there's food, I will drip it into them. And yeah, Katrina is not wearing something like this. That was what it was supposed to do. I saw somebody else who was much smaller up top wear it. It was adorable. Not this particular one, but one like it. It was adorable. It just went over her shoulders and draped down. Looks so cute. Not so much. So this one has to get ripped out. It is wool that I actually got at a auction. I think I paid like $1 a skein and got like 4 or 5 skeins. It is like a tweed, and it's kind of a plum color. It's maybe not showing up real well, but it's a plum color. But yeah, this pattern did me absolutely no favors. Next I have this. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't fit me. This is all the yarn of this particular style that I have. It's kind of a nylon. And I mean, it's very soft and everything. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. Like I said, nothing wrong with any of it, except that it's just too short. So what I could do with this, and I've thought about it, I could just hook it together and use it as a cowl, except that it does tend to roll on the edges. So in all honesty, I'd probably just rip it apart or just give it to somebody. It was not really expensive yarn, and maybe one of my grandkids or something could wear it, and it would fit around their neck perfectly fine, but that's not going to help a whole lot in the wintertime, unless I like literally tie it in a knot and choke myself. That's about the only way it's going to work. So, and my coat for winter's black, so this would not match anything I've got. So that's the next item. The last item needs no explanation what the problem is. Yes, the hat is like way too big, and yeah, the armholes are definitely a little too large, to say the least. I do like the yarn. It'll get ripped apart, but yeah, it won't be remade into this particular thing again. This was a vest. I did not use a pattern for it. I just picked out some style I liked and just kept going with it. And obviously the armholes are a definite issue. They like hang halfway down to my waist. So yes, this will be ripped out, and I really don't wear hats all that often. So this will come apart as well and get done into something. So yes, that is the current items in my tub of shame. There's more joining it all the time, it seems, but all of us have little faux pas that do not work out the way we planned, and so they live in my tub of shame. I am going to make it a point to try to rip all of these apart and actually make something that's usable with them. So, but I did want to show them to everybody before I did that. So now it's time to see what you all are making. Hopefully you're not adding to your tub of shame. Now, in my acquisitions this week, I just have one item. Well, like I said, technically it's 2 items because Knit Crate came in. If you missed that video, if you click the link right over here, that little I, if you click that after this video, it will take you over and you can watch the actual unboxing. But a quick summary of what I got. 2 skeins of purple yarn. It's extremely soft. This is Uru yarn silk in the DK weight. DK means it's like a light worsted. It's heavier than fingering, but it's not as heavy as regular worsted. So that's kind of what DK is. The color I have is Beauty Berry. It's an 85% merino wool, 15% silk, which explains the softness involved here. There are 300 yards per skein, so 600 yards total. And then I got a little shawl pin, which I don't have with me because I actually have it on a shawl I was wearing this morning because it was chilly. But it kind of looks like a safety pin. You could use it as a progress keeper holder or to hold your stitch markers on it, or you can use it as a shawl pin. And I was trying to describe it on the video, and I couldn't figure out quite how to say it. It's called a rainbow because it's got different iridescent colors in it. Oil on water, that iridescence. Yes, one of the viewers said, it looks like oil on water. I was like, that's what I was trying to describe. So it came with one of those, and then it comes with a pattern book, which is right here. And it has a crochet pattern, it has a knit pattern, and then it also has a sock pattern. And this one actually had 2 additional patterns that you could download. So this was, let's see, they had 2 different crochet patterns. There was this purple tank and the teal socks are both crocheted. And then these are the knit patterns that they had. The sock and the hat are in this book, and the vest and tank, I thought they were one piece, but they actually aren't. They're 2 actual separate patterns. So one's kind of a tank. The other one is like a sleeveless vest that kind of cascades in the front. And those are a downloadable pattern. So you're getting a couple of extra patterns in this edition. And next month's theme is going to be Journey to Peru, which is where a lot of your wool comes from. If you get yarn from like Knit Picks, some of the yarn that comes from Knit Crate, it comes from the highlands of Peru. And yeah, they have lots of sheep there, and they also have lots of alpaca. We have friends of ours that live in Peru. They also have alpaca and I guess llama as well. So yes, lots of wooliness goes on in Peru. So that's what next month's theme is. So that is my acquisitions for this week. Now in our Come and Get It section for this week, we have Annie's has their fall collection that has just become available in, I think it was last week. So I was drooling through that in the crochet and in the knit section, and I tried to find a example of a similar item in both crafts. So I'm going to show you first the crochet pattern. I saw this and thought, oh, that is so pretty. And if you made this with a heavier yarn, it would be a gorgeous rug because it's a circular afghan. And I know some of you make rugs, so I just saw this and went, oh, that's pretty. In fact, I thought it was a rug until I read it a little closer. It's called the Celtic Gansey Afghan. It's a crocheted pattern. And if you get the printable pattern, it is $8. If you get a digital copy, it is $6. But I really like this. I don't think I'm quite capable of doing something like that yet, but it's quite pretty. And then there is, in the knitted section, there is an afghan. Now, it's not round, it's square. It's called Lily of the Valley. And I thought it was pretty too. Not quite as pretty as the crocheted one. I like the circular. I like the idea of a circular, more like a rug. I've never seen the purpose of a circular shawl. because you have to fold it in half in order to wear it. And it seems like all that work is wasted when half of it is hidden on the back. So I never have seen a point in a circular shawl, but I saw this and thought, oh, that is really, really pretty. And it would be gorgeous as a rug. Anyway, that is Annie's. Over at Bluprint, they are having a really good sale. They are offering 40% off of your entire purchase. You do need to use the coupon code YourCraft40, and I'll put that somewhere up here. It's all caps. And with that, because it's 40% off, some of the yarns that I checked out were Sprightly Spectrum Worsted, which is a single ply gradient, and it's $3.32. Bernat Satin is $1.74. Bremont Joanna Brushed Yarn, which is, it looks like almost like a mohair. I think it's an acrylic, but it mimics mohair. It's $1.97 per skein. And Bernat Softy Chunky Yarn is $3.29. So that is over on Bluprint. Consumer Crafts is offering, they have their seasonal decor on sale. So if you need some fall decor, you could go over and check that out. Create for Less has Red Heart Baby Hugs on sale for $3.99. And they also have Mary Maxim Scrub It for $2.59 per skein. Scrub It is that, it's like a textured yarn that has a little roughness to it that you can put in with your dishcloths so that you have a little scrubbing value to it. So that is Create for Less. The dollar store has Deborah Norville yarn for $1 per skein, Premium Cotton for $1 per skein, and Isaac Mizra on sale for $1 per skein. Just be aware that you do need to order the entire case, so you could get 6 to 54 skeins of yarn. So you just want to read the instructions with it. You'll understand, but you have to buy the entire case. Now, Hobium is still tempting me. I was watching Bag O' Day Crochet earlier this week, and she got that Mia trio that I've been drooling over. You've seen me drool about it all month long on the sales thing. It's still calling my name. I really don't need any more yarn, but I keep looking at that and going, that is so pretty. It's such a good deal. It is $7.35. Now, when she showed it over on Bag O' Day, I was expecting it to be kind of, small skeins of yarn, little. It's not. The skeins of yarn are like this. And there's 273 yards in each skein. So it comes out to 819 yards total. You could make an entire shawl out of those 3 skeins of yarn, and they're already perfectly coordinated to go together. So, yeah, I'm hoping I'm trying really hard not to cave and go over and buy that, but it is really, really pretty. And there's a pretty tealy green over there that I really like. So I don't know. I don't know if I can withstand the temptation on that one, especially after seeing it on somebody else review it. And they thought it was really pretty. I was like, so do I. Anyway, we'll just move on, because if I keep talking about it, I'm going to go over and buy it. I know I will. Over on Ice Yarn, do not forget that they have their garage sale. They also have a clearance section. They have Tuesday specials. There is so much yarn over there to even begin to pick out something and say, oh, look what they've got. I get lost over there. It's very overwhelming because there's so much to choose from. But it's definitely worth going over and checking out. So that is Ice Yarns. And if you are familiar with watching The Secret Yarnery, with Kristen or Crystal. You know who I'm talking about. She gets all of her yarn from Ice Yarns. So you could too. Just go over and check it out. Knit Crate, you can get 20% off of your first subscription box. You do need to use the coupon code KCreations20 to do that. Knit Picks, their yarn of the month, as it has been all month long, is 20% off all of their alpaca yarns, which is a good deal because alpaca is like the 3rd or 4th softest yarn in the world. And alpaca is wonderful to knit and crochet with. It really just feels nice on your hands, and it's very enjoyable to work with. Anyway, if you want to try it out and get 20% off, you can do so. Knit Picks is also offering a free Knit Picks exclusive book with the purchase of $50 or more. You do need to use a coupon code FREEBOOK19 in order to get that discount. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what is in the book or anything else more than that. I just saw the picture and said free. So, it caught my attention because anything free generally does. Although the alpaca's kind of catching my attention too. Anyway, Leisure Arts. They are offering a site-wide sale, 45% off of their digital patterns, 30% off of their paper patterns, and there's no coupon code needed. So Leisure Arts has been known for eons for knitting and crochet patterns. My mother had some, and they were like from the 60s, and they were Leisure Arts. And Leisure Arts is sending me, I mentioned it a while back, and then I didn't hear anything from them. They contacted me again the other day and said they were sorry things kind of got a little delayed, but they are sending me some free patterns to review. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's like I think it's a couple of books. Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 books. That's going to be fun. When it comes in, we will review them together. We'll check them out. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Again, it's free. How can I go wrong? But I love looking at patterns. I don't always make all of them, but I like looking at them. So, yes, that's Leisure Arts. And then lastly, we have Lion Brand. Lion Brand, over in their clearance sale, they have DI yarn, a pack of 3. Now, it's only on a select few colors, but they have it for $2, starting at $2. So, I mean, I guess it goes up by the popularity of the color, but it's a bundle of 3 skeins of yarn, starting at $2. That's less than $1 per skein. They also have a bulky pack of 3, starting at $5. These are like bundles. And now this last one I've gotten myself, mandala package of 3 for $10. That's $3.33 per cake of mandala yarn, which is a really good deal. It is a mill end, which just means that you don't get a choice in the color. It's 3 different colors. They're not going to be 3 of the same color. There can be 3 separate colors, and they're random, so you don't know what you're going to get, and they're not labeled. When mine came in, I just went over to their site and looked at the colors I had and figured out which one it was. It might not be a complete skein, but it's pretty close. It just means when it says a mill end, it was the end of the bat that they're running off of, or the end of the bolt that they're running off of. So it might be more. It actually might be more or less than the normal yardage, but it's pretty close. And like I said, it doesn't have a wrapper or ball band on it, but you can go over and look at their site and you can figure out what color it is they sent. I got 3 of them last time. One was a pink and a gray and a white. One was a pink and a purple. And one was a gray and a teal. I don't have any of those anymore because the gray and teal went to my granddaughter because she loves teal colors, except their house caught on fire and that yarn is long gone at this point. My other granddaughter loves to do loom knitting. And actually, both my granddaughters do loom knitting. But my littlest granddaughter likes to do loom knitting. So she got the pink and the purple because, she's 8 and pink and purple are every little 8-year-old's favorite colors for the most part, which is funny. I've got this guy working with me now, and he has no children. He's not married. And this little girl comes up on board the truck. And, of course, every little girl that age wants a princess book. So she's looking up at me going... He's like, what kind of book would you like? And she's, I would like a princess book. And he's looking at me, and I was like, princess book. And I said, look for anything pink or purple. Guaranteed you'll find a princess book. And he did. He looked in the little container where we keep the books and grabbed a pink book out. And of course it's a princess book. So yes, pink and purple is a popular color at that age, and my granddaughter's no exception. And then the other that was the pink and the gray went to my daughter-in-law, who is trying to learn to crochet in between chasing 4 little people around the house. So, yeah, I got to ask her how well that's going at this point. But, yeah, she's learning to crochet. I've been trying my best for years to get my daughter and my daughter-in-law on the show. They're both camera shy. They're like, no, I don't want to talk in front of people. I was like, they're nice people. You will enjoy it. They'll have fun. They would like to meet you. So anyway, it hasn't worked. Maybe this Christmas. Who knows? All I can do is try. But anyway, that is our sales. I've rambled a lot right now. That is our sales for this week. So any of the links to the ones I've shared, if you click the links down below in the description box where it says show more, it will drop down and everything is listed alphabetically. And you can check that out from there. And if you do purchase and you go through that link to make your purchase, I do get a small commission out of it, which helps to support the channel because YouTube pays next to nothing. Just a little sidebar there. So anyway, that is our sales for this week. Now, Tuesday's video went well, yes, actually. Normally I do a video on Wednesday. This week, because of something very special and because of when the first of the month starts, it's going to be on Tuesday instead. Just this one week. And the reason is, and here's some of the fun. Now, you know, I've already mentioned that all the way through October, every week there's going to be a giveaway because it's my 3rd year of being on YouTube. So in the meantime, Sara Oliver, who over on YouTube, she has a channel called The Lass Who Knits. She lives in Scotland. She contacted me. She's been a long-time viewer. In fact, a couple years ago, she went to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival and she sent pictures, which I showed on the podcast. So if you remember that, that's who Sara Oliver is. Anyway, she has her own YouTube channel. I will put a link down below as well if you want to go over and check out her channel. She contacted me and said, hey, would you love to do a make-along together? And so I was like, what do you have in mind? So we decided that we're going to do a holiday along to work on all of our Christmas projects together, knit and crochet. There will be prizes involved on both channels. And she came up with this other neat idea, which I don't want to say too much because otherwise, why would you bother to watch the video on Tuesday? But there's another fun little aspect involving racing that's going to go on, or not so much racing, traveling that's going to go on, that I think will be a very fun element added to it that I'd never heard of. I told her, I said, you have to explain to me, what is that you're talking about? And when she explained it to me, I was like, that sounds like it's going to be a blast. That's going to be fun. So, yeah. Anyway, make sure you stay tuned on Tuesday to find out what's going on, because it will begin on October 1st and run through December 31st. So make sure you watch on Tuesday to hear what we've got up our sleeves. But I think you'll enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.